now. We've got Tribe, and we're going to hear from Lisa Targett, who's the general manager, and a real follow-on from the last session as well. We're going to be looking at the race to win social shopping and why influence is the key, with a particular look at Amazon versus Instagram. So, Lisa, I'm going to leave it to you.
Thank you very much. And the crowd goes wild. Hi, everyone. So I'm Lisa. I'm from Tribe. And for those of you who don't know us, we're an influencer marketing platform. We're a branded content marketplace that helps brands connect with everyday people, celebrate them through beautiful content. I thought I might get a quick read of the room. You know, it's been a while. How many of you have heard of Tribe before? Amazing, great. So this is not going to be about us at all. If you do have any questions as to kind of how we fit into this world, we have a stand. We've got a picnic table down there, so feel free to grab one of us after this. But what I wanted to do, because it's a quick session, it's 10 minutes, is try and give everyone here who's working with influencers, who's working with paid social, or who's working, from a commerce perspective, either Instagram or Amazon or TikTok, some really practical tips about how we see things changing and influencers' roles within that in particular. So we saw this last year, a bit of an inflection point. In April, Keith Weed had said that 15 years worth of people had come online in the last 15 days. So at the very beginning of the pandemic, we raced online, and that's sustained. I think there are practices that have happened that are sustaining new consumer behaviors. We're shopping more and more online. Web browsing's up, social media engagement's up. And what we found for brands that we're trying to keep up with, creative production, with communication strategies, with how to win the digital shopper online, some of the existing solutions probably created more problems than solutions themselves. Stock image libraries were very difficult to find your product. It's very generic. Photographers, it was very difficult to get photographers to shoot content that was relevant to the consumer experience, what was actually going on. Production shoots were, shut down, and every marketer had to pivot around these solutions, which kind of created a more of a sense of understanding about what the creator economy and what everyday at-home creators could really provide brands within the sort of production, communication and commerce space in this sort of new era online. And what we found for most brands that were agile, that were quick to change, that knew that they had to create more relevant content, was to lean into their biggest brand fans. The creators that were actively talking about their brand and had the technology in their pocket, that had the skills at home to be able to produce beautiful, relevant ads that spoke to digital consumers, that spoke to people who were shopping and spending their time dwelling online over the last year. And in my mind, this has coincided with a shift that Instagram has also seen a huge opportunity because most of the traffic that Instagram pushes off their platform is driving straight to Amazon. So in this world where we're browsing more, we're spending more time on social, but the shopping is happening on Amazon, that just provides a big opportunity for Instagram. And in my mind, they're answering influencer marketing's biggest question. And I call that the $20 billion question, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen me present over the last 4 years with Tribe. It's always, what is the ROI? Like, what is the ROI of influence marketing? And I want to use that sort of question as the framing for the rest of this presentation. And like I said, some practical tips to step through exactly how I think Instagram is going to be the platform that starts to answer this question, and how the way that they're doing it is going to be replicated on other social apps like TikTok, like YouTube, in their own environments. So if we have a look at the traditional marketing funnel, a lot of things have changed in the last year. More eyeballs online, so the awareness and consideration, we're having to do more brand building online. And if we look at conversion, it's getting harder and harder to target audiences. There have been massive changes, especially with mobile, and how we can track audiences. And that's providing a real challenge for brands. And then when we look at things like loyalty and advocacy, we know social and influencers have a massive role to play in your brand equity and what they say about your brand, in how communities can really build brands overnight, and especially challenger brands like Glossier overnight. Just kind of Gymshark is another example of brands who are community-based. And that bottom of the funnel, the post-conversion part, is just as important as building the top. and it becomes a sort of circular funnel. And given 87% of e-commerce shoppers believe that social media helps them make a shopping decision, that's the opportunity that Instagram have kind of seen that they need to play a really big role in e-commerce and what we're terming as social commerce. Because at the moment, and this is a UK-based stat, 86% of consumers are actively using Amazon to research products and to shop. And like I said, something like 90% of campaigns that happen on Tribe are actively driving through swipe ups and links in bio audiences to Amazon. So the funnel's kind of looking like this in a way, which is Instagram's doing a great job of showing brands or creators new products. We're showing audiences how they can find and use new versions of our products, new services. They're considering them through advocacy, through peer-to-peer recommendations, all the stuff we know of influencer marketing over the last couple of years. And we know that they're driving loyalty and advocacy, but there's this sort of gaping hole in the middle where Instagram is essentially leaking audience, and they're not getting a clip of the ticket. They're not getting the kudos for the conversions that they're actually driving. And obviously they're not able to track between Instagram and Amazon as an example. And what I think is interesting is because Instagram owns the entire buyer's journey, and because people trust influencers, they are in pole position, in my mind, to really glue that entire funnel together and get that momentum driving from advocacy all the way through to awareness and conversion and back again. And influencers and audiences and community are going to be at the heart of those strategies. And they're the strategies we're seeing brands be most successful with. So that little conversion point also has two really incredible stats that Instagram is going to solve for in this year. And some of these updates have already come in the last year if you've been paying attention. But 35% of consumers are abandoning their cart because of that act of having to create an account. And most people just think the process is too complicated and too hard. And that's obviously why a lot of brands have been pushing to Amazon, because all of that is already done for most consumers. But Instagram obviously want to reduce the clicks to keep everyone within their own ecosystem and to make the funnel look a little bit more like this. And so this is sort of where influencer marketing comes back into it. The way that we're doing organic posts and what we can really do with them, it sits at that awareness and consideration phase. Like, yes, we know that you can run performance style campaigns with influencer marketing by doing swipe ups from stories, for example, and tracking who converted off the back of those links. But it's really limiting. And we've always said that influencer marketing is not performance marketing because you can't target exact audiences. We have no control over the reach, algorithms, etc. The best you can do is pick the right influencers who have a close relation to who you're trying to target. The call to actions aren't there. It's like click link in bio. You can't attribute, which audiences have come or which shoppers have come to you via which creators, especially if you're working with a high volume of creators. And you can't amplify it. So when a post is doing really well, there's always this really clunky process to, either ask the creator themselves to boost it or, to get the asset yourself and make an ad. But none of it was connected. And so Instagram are doing these 4 things that is going to be the steps to glue your influencer marketing work, the work you're doing in paid, in organic work, all the way through to really, really driving results, driving sales, and being able to replicate the process in a much more efficient way than we've ever seen before. And the first thing they did was introduce this paid partnerships tag. So have you guys seen the paid partnerships tag? That's a little bit old now. So what that's actually enabled us to do is start to see exactly from the brand's perspective, so in this case, on Huggies' perspective, start to see which creators are tagging your brand, not just through hashtags and physical tags, but this actually has the ability to pull all of these posts into your ads manager, and you can start to see and control which creators are actively working with you from a paid perspective, which gives you a lot of options in terms of boosting and amplification. So you can identify the highest performing posts from an organic perspective and start to make some decisions. And this is when Facebook introduced the branded content ad. Now, how many of you guys are familiar with branded content ads so far? Much fewer. So this is really interesting, and we've spoken about this for about a year now, and it's very under the radar. Not a lot of people know about it, but this is how the organic and the paid start to really get linked. So all of a sudden, a branded content ad allows you to flip an organic post into a paid post without that clunky taking the asset and making a brand ad yourself. This actually gives the brand the control to boost an influencer's post. And it looks exactly the same. It will look like the influencer is posting, it says it's sponsored, and that paid partnership tag moves to the bottom now. So all of a sudden the brand is in control of where this goes. So people who have active interests, who are your demographics, all the things that you know can control the performance of an ad, all of a sudden you can do, but it looks like it comes from an influencer. Is that it? Oh, guys, we're at time. I'm gonna race through the last bit. And all of a sudden, it answers a lot of these questions about, audience targeting, call to actions, and really starts to reduce the amount of clicks that a creator is making on behalf of a brand. But because there's still friction in driving people off platform, because you have to leave the app, you have to add, to cart, etc., off Instagram, they've created their checkout. And the checkout, we've all seen this, we're starting to shop now, it's becoming more of a native behavior. They're reducing those clicks to basket rapidly via these branded ads. And what that's going to enable as well, this next phase of shopping from creators. So shopping directly from those branded content ads that I showed you before, as opposed to it all being driven from branded behavior. We've got so many builds in this. And all of a sudden what that does is help us with things like disclosure, i.e. hashtag ad's going to go in the bin. We don't need that anymore. And we're not having those old conversations about engagement fraud, etc., because everything's driving towards a performance goal. So we're moving away from this pay-per-post world into a world that's being paid on performance. And all of a sudden, an influencer post that you might have generated organically with a creator can be turned into 20 different assets that are really, really driving performance. And Dr. Teals did this where they flipped an organic post into branded content ads, and they're really driving up sales on Amazon. So you can imagine if that's driving sales up on Amazon, what that's going to do when Instagram completely connect all the dots. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We've run out of time for questions, I think. We have. But like I said, if you've got any questions, come down to us. We're in the picnic stand at the back. Cheers.